So with our two lovely ladies, we have Gracie and our lovely Maya. So we're gonna work a little bit with some more of that loose leash walking. I figured this way, I know her sister, Miss G, is a little bit more sensitive. So I wanna give the girls the chance. I also put out a little blanket just in case she feels more comfortable having a target mat. So even though the floor here does have some really nice traction, Miss G, after her slip, she's even more a little bit again, sensitive to that novel, different sort of zones of walking. So right now, I'm just trying to get the girls in the groove, get them cozy, beautiful little sit, Miss M. So for Miss G, obviously I figured working the girls, since they do live together, we're gonna see if we can work the girls together, but at the same time do different skill sets depending on what the ladies are able to offer. So for Miss M, I might warm up with a couple little find its and then do Maya. Yes. And again, Miss G, I'm going to feed her for just being out and about and building up the big girl skills. Find it. Oh my goodness, chewing. Chewing is so hard when you run. There we go. She's got it though. Ready? Maya. Nice. I'm going to feed her sister, Miss G. Nice. So you'll see, obviously, too, guys, I know I mentioned a little bit earlier, I think about how I abbreviate their names. I don't want to say their name and have them lose out on the meaning behind the word. So if, let's say, their name means, hey, you, but it also means maybe do a check-in, or hey, you, I'd like some focus. Yes, nice job, cuteness. Then that would be a moment where I'm only going to say their name if I'm really looking for that attention. Otherwise, we do sometimes also pair their name with something not so good, like, hey, you, and knock it off. So I would recommend use the positive interrupter where you're saying like, hey, let's do a little check-in, as opposed to the thing that I don't really love. And then see if you can start to, again, ask for things you'd prefer. So I know the girls have already heard the spiel with you in classes. But I also tried leaving our little handsome man in the back little section here. So we'll see how Mr. K does with his lady friends out and about. Normally, I rotate through the babes. They take little breaks in one of the little suites out back where it's actually kind of big. It's like one big room. So that way they can take little breaks throughout it. Oh, he's peeking. Hi there, sir. So with Mr. K, he's got a couple of his things from home to stay busy with in his little bubble. But maybe we'll try a little bit with our sit. So Miss M did a very nice job. If our little Miss G, yes, offers it for like a little split second, I don't want to force her to do different behavior changes when it comes to her body. Because if, for example, it is a little bit uncomfortable or a little bit awkward, and even if there isn't pain, but it just feels a little bit peculiar, I don't want her to feel that she has to offer things that might make her feel a little bit unsure. So right here, I'm just feeding the girls for doing nice little check-ins. They're like, oh my gosh, there's a peekaboo monster over there. He says, guys, don't forget I'm also here. So for the ladies, we're going to warm up. Oh, he says, take that, curtain. So obviously, if Mr. K is a little too excited, I was going to give it a try and see how he would do out here with the girls. But he says he would really like to join the ladies instead. So I'm just going to move my curtain just so he doesn't go and pull it down by mistake and get a little stuck. We'll just put it off to the side for a moment. So for Mr. K, obviously being out and about, watching his little girlfriends doing their own thing, I'm going to toss a few snacks in for him just for a minute. So we can do a couple find its and we'll go back to working our gorgeous girls. So ready, Miss M, I'm going to send her away with a little find it. Nice. For Miss G, I'm going to just feed her for moving and trying new things out and about. So I want her to build up that coming to the space and trying these new feelings on the floor aren't, again, paired with something that's already hard for her. So if we're just dealing with behaviorally, how is she doing and how is she feeling comfort range wise, that would be something I'd be more interested to start off with. Ready? So we'll do a little front. Nice. So you'll see she's a little bit unsure, but I don't want her to feel that she has to make her way all the way to the floor if it's a little bit spooky. So if, let's say, we were doing a little bit of loose leash walking for Miss M, Miss G could just, again, be doing her own little thing for a moment. And I know I'm out of range a little bit, so I'll bring myself back over this way. So for our little ladies, working with some distractions, so we have their other day school student in his little bubble too. And then Miss G will, again, ready? Gracie. So right here, yes, good little check-in. So we could do as simple as like we did in previous classes with her. Yes, anytime she offers, like let's say a beautiful check-in. So she offers eye contact. She gives you a really great moment where she gives you a name recognition moment. So now we might try a little bit with Miss G, where again, if we're just meandering, I'm going to feed right here while she's by my leg. And then again, we're just going to take a couple little steps this way. And remember, it's not about the quantity, it's the quality. So I want Miss G to think that even meandering a couple little steps with me still has value. So it doesn't have to be the full, environment or different sections of the bubble. If it's a little bit too spooky, we can stay on her little target mat. And maybe what I might do is grab another mat and then make the bubble a little bit bigger for Miss G if she does prefer the little blanket on the floor. Nice. Great job, Miss M. So again, find it. So with our lovely Miss M, I'm going to work again a little bit with some focus on me as we're meandering. So I might have her follow my lower hand. Nice. And again, we're just feeding for being next to us. She's like, that one slipped because it was a little slimy. Nice job, Miss G. Good girl. So I'm going to feed Miss G for that. Maya's like, what is that wild Tasmanian devil doing over there? Nice job, Miss M. Beautiful. So but you can still see the girls are a little bit unsure. So I know some babes will have different comfort ranges. We do want to make sure though that they're still able to retain and practice. So obviously right now we're still getting some of our previous behavior, but Miss G is actually doing a lot better today than she did on Tuesday. So remember though, we want to make sure that when we're trying anything novel, it's still that you're, again, gauging where your pup might be fitting into that setup, and then make sure that we're working at each babe's rate. So if, let's say, Miss M is a little bit more comfortable and confident, then maybe we could up the ante. Oh my goodness, Mr. K did not chew his last snack either. So, but we want to keep building up. Maybe one girl feels more cozy and comfortable, so maybe her ability or range will be a little bit more than our other little lady as she's working these big girl skills. Nice job, Miss G. Very good. But the girls working together today seems to be a little bit easier. She's like, oh, Miss M wants that one. You have that one. And we'll give one to our little Miss G. Good job. Beautiful. So we're getting a little bit of more this, meandering together. I think it does help Miss G having her sibling around a little bit. But I would still recommend at home is practice where, again, even if you're doing this in the house and you're just getting her to move around the bubble and you're capturing little moments, Miss M's like, I'm doing a great job, feed me too. But you're capturing little moments where Miss G is having little glimmers into that comfort range and sort of feeling a little bit more of a situation that's attainable for her too. And we want to just make those bubbles seem really like a nice idea to try. Nice. Miss M's doing a good job. Ready? So we'll bring our little Miss M this way, have her hold in. Yeah, hone in on me. Yes. Good job, Miss G, checking in. So even if, again, the girls are going at their rate, I know it does seem sometimes a little bit challenging for us because we'd really love to just go for that walk or go for that hike or whatever it might be that our main goal may be. But we have to make sure that that we're going at a pace that, again, both your lovelies can tolerate and handle. So right there, yes. Oh my goodness. Ready? Maya, sit. Yes. Good girls. So we'll give our little ladies maybe a little breather, and then I want to work a few other little skills with the girls, maybe divide and conquer. So again, we can work each girl for a few moments on their own too, and then go from there. But they did get to do some engagement with their buddy. So Mr. K and the ladies did get to do a little bit of wrestling earlier this morning. So they were running around like wilds. Miss G was more so watching and off to the side, which is fine. And then Mr. K was more so playing with our lovely Miss M. So if, again, wrestling has gotten a little bit less for Miss G, I would still double check just to make sure that everything is feeling, pretty good. I know we had quickly discussed there are some specialists that do work with rehabilitating dogs that have had injuries. So I'm not saying you have to reach out to them, but I know they have I had told, again, Tuesday, that they have like a treadmill with the water resistance, and then that can be really beneficial for sometimes helping resolve some softness in that tissue and then build up muscle so that way she's maybe a little bit more comfortable in that knee area. Oh, that's very nice. So, but for our girls, we'll give them a little breather and we'll work each one individually for a little bit, and then we might put the girls back together for another little practice. But they did a very, very nice. Good job, ladies.